Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Iris and welcome to my beauty corner, where we love all things beauty and makeup. I'm so happy that you have joined us today. Today's spotlight is on this new Natasha Denona Mini Bloom eyeshadow palette. We're going to take a closer look at these shades, do some swatches, some comparisons, create a look, and of course, I'll be sharing my honest thoughts and opinions on this new Natasha Denona release. So if you've been curious about this pretty little palette, go ahead and grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, get comfy, and let's dive right in. If you're familiar with my channel, you know how much I love Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. So much that I even call myself a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collector. I do want to mention that I have included timestamps so that you can jump to the sections that you're most interested in. I've also included a list of products that I'm using today. And if you're shopping Natasha Denona, just a little reminder, I do have a discount code IRIS10. It'll get you 10% off any of your purchases. A little backstory here. I fell in love with Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formula literally from the very first purchase I made, which was about 5 years ago. My first palette was the Metropolis palette. My goodness, this palette opened my eyes. And honestly, it completely changed my expectations of what luxury eyeshadows should be like. When it comes down to formula, each and every eyeshadow in this palette gave me the best result. Everything just worked together beautifully. From that point on, every palette that I've purchased has reinforced why Natasha Denona is one of my favorite brands. Now, for the longest, I was not a fan of these little 5-pan mini palettes here. I was all about these large palettes. My way of thinking was, why do I need a smaller palette when I already have the full size? By the way, my first mini eyeshadow palette was the Biba eyeshadow palette. I went from just 1 to 6. These mini palettes are not all directly taken from the larger palettes. After doing my research, there are a few things that I learned. I'm not going to go into all of the details, but at least the most important details that I feel I should share with you guys. First of all, some of these are inspired by the larger ones. Others have inspired the larger palettes. There's no set rule or pattern that Natasha Denona follows when it comes down to the mini palettes. Then we have these that are absolutely standalone. There are no other, palettes like them. At first I thought it could be like close to the Yucca palette or the Metropolis, but nope, it's its own. Then we have these, for example. This one was inspired by the larger My Dream palette, but you're gonna find that 4 of these are new shades and one of them is a repeat of this. So the mini palettes aren't just travel versions of the larger palettes, and that in itself has changed my perspective. They're their own little collection, and as a collector, even the mini palettes excite me. So when I saw the announcement on the Natasha Denona site, of course I got excited over the Mini Bloom palette. Right away I wanted to know if this little Mini Bloom palette was going to include repeat shades of the full Bloom palette, or if it was going to bring something new to the collection. Well, today we're going to find the answers to those questions. Let's start with the packaging. Like the rest of Natasha Denona's mini palettes, this one comes in the signature compact 5-pan format. It's lightweight, travel-friendly, easy to store, and honestly, one of my favorite sizes for everyday makeup. Now let's take an even closer look at the shades. One thing Natasha Denona consistently does well is creating balanced color stories. Even with only 5 shades, you still have enough variety to create a complete look. This Mini Bloom eyeshadow palette is inspired by the full-size Bloom eyeshadow palette. It includes floral-inspired coral tones and, of course, her signature formula. This 5-pan palette can take you from a day look to a night look. Now for the shade description. We have here Brunette, which is a matte medium dark rosy brick, Harmonia, metallic medium peachy coral, Meadow, matte light medium coral nude, Wish, matte medium dusty coral, and Ivy, sparkling foiled light soft coral. The common phrase in these shades is coral. So one of my viewers asked me specifically about the shimmer shades in the Mini Bloom palette and how it compared to the shimmers in the Mini Rose palette. Since I didn't own the Mini Rose palette, I was wondering why specifically that palette. It wasn't until I went online to look at it that I realized, oh my goodness, these look alike. Of course, for research purposes, I purchased the Mini Rose palette. I am building onto my collection anyway, so when I first saw this palette in person, oh my goodness, I totally understood. I understood why the question was being asked. At a glance, these look so similar, but when you look at them in person, you can tell there's a difference. Let's go ahead and compare these two palettes. Once you put these side by side, you can really start seeing the difference in undertones, finishes, and overall color story. So the Mini Rose palette is inspired by the Mini Rose Cheek Duo and the I Need a Rose lip collection. Let's look at the shade description here. And actually what I want to do is I want to go in the order that the Mini Bloom palette is in. So similar shades. Let's start with Opart. Opart is a matte dark taupe. Then we have Golden Rose. Golden Rose is a duochrome rose with a gold shift. Flamingo. Flamingo is a matte light soft pink. Andy, which is a matte medium lilac. And then we have Psychedelic, which is Chroma Crystal Baby Pink with multicolor sparks topper. You can tell there's a difference in these two. From, like I mentioned earlier, at first glance, they look similar, but once you get a closer look, then you can see that there is a difference. Even though the Mini Rose eyeshadow palette is a standalone palette, there are 3 shades in the Mini Rose palette that we can find in the Retro palette. And those are Andy, Opart, and Psychedelic. My goodness, that was a lot of detail. Thank goodness for timestamps. For the most exciting part of this video, let's create an eye look. Eyes are prepped, I'm ready to go. Let's check this out. Let's put this eyeshadow palette to the test. So I'm gonna go in with this shade here. This is Meadow. I'm gonna just place this all over my lid. You can create an everyday look as well as a full glammed out look with just 5 shadows here with this little palette, and that really excites me, especially for our trips to Vegas. One thing about me is that my husband and I like to go to Vegas. That's like we call it our adult Disneyland. So that's like our main place to go, our go-to, weekend getaway kind of place, So I love to carry these with me. I can carry multiple. Even though I love the larger eyeshadow palettes, these are so convenient. So I'm going to go in with Wish, and I'm going to use this as my transitional shade. So at a glance, it looks like a pinky shade, but it's more of a corally shade. And if you have hooded eyes, of course, we apply this on our crease and a little bit above it. We don't want that shade to disappear on us. As expected, Natasha Denona, her formula is excellent. No patching whatsoever. Sometimes the lighting can cause shadowing and stuff, and especially if you have mature eyes, it can come off as, it can look like you have patchiness, but I promise you that I will let you know if there is patchiness in any formula of any brand. And in this case, I'm not seeing any patchiness. Of course, I'm never gonna get tired of telling you that the Sigma switch is an amazing tool to use when you are doing your eye makeup. Unless I'm using multiple brushes, and I mean, if I want to use the same one, all I have to do is just swirl it on here and it takes off almost all of the pigment. So I love this tool. I want to deepen this look by going in with brunette. There's a little bit of fallout, but not that much, to be honest with you. I'm gonna bring it in. Ooh, that looks nice over the coral shade. Nice. I like the gradient look. And you already know that I'm not worried about being precise, so trust the process. I will be cleaning this up and then doing the rest of my makeup. Now for the shimmer shades. I am going to go for, let's see, I'm going to do the lighter shimmer shade. This one is going to be Ivy. From my experience with the Natasha Denona formula, yes, I can use a brush, but I prefer going in with my fingertip. So I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm placing it on the inner part of my eye. Oh my God. Of course, she's gonna come out with another gorgeous palette. Look at that. I don't know if the camera can capture this, but wow. The shimmer shade picks up beautifully with your fingertip. So Ivy is a sparkling foiled shade. Now we're gonna go in with the metallic shimmer shade. And this one is Harmonia. And I'm gonna place it in the center of my lid. Going outward. That's pretty. That's really pretty. And now I'm thinking I should have gone in with this one first. This is one way to get to know your palettes, learn about them. This is a beautiful shade as well. I'm going to use a smaller blending brush. This one is a BK Beauty A502, and I'm going to deepen this look. I'm going back in with brunette. The smaller blending brush is going to be a little more precise than the other one. My goodness. Love it. I want to go in with the Sigma E27, which is a detailed blending brush. This is a brush that I really like to use for my brow bone. So I'm going to use the center shade, which is Meadow. And I'm going to go and highlight as best as I can my brow bone. It looks okay, but I want it to pop out a little more. So I'm going to go in. Let me go ahead and clean this. I'm going to go in with Ivy. Is it Ivy? Yeah. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the shimmer shade and I'm going to apply it on my brow bone, just to give it a little something something there. All right, so this is a final look using the new Natasha Denona Mini Bloom eyeshadow palette. Let's go ahead and do a quick little lights off tester so you could see what I'm looking at in person. As expected, the Natasha Denona formula in this eyeshadow palette is beautiful. I am loving this look. So the question is, if you already own a large Natasha Denona collection, is this 5-pan palette worth it? To be honest, it all depends on what you're looking for. I think these mini palettes are for Natasha Denona collectors, for anyone who loves smaller palettes, for people who travel, or even for someone who wants to try the Natasha Denona brand without committing to a larger palette. Honestly, these minis have become some of my favorites in my collection. Overall, I enjoyed trying out the new mini Bloom palette. As expected, the Natasha Denona formula is reliable. The shades are blendable, no patchiness, minimal to no fallout. I'm loving this. Every new Natasha Denona release is an adventure for me, so I truly can't wait to see what she has next for us. If you enjoyed today's beauty session, I hope you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye!